Such an injury-riddled season, the Pelicans had to go through a metamorphosis throughout various different lineups, seeing who sticks and who doesn't, who's in and who's out. So when guys do come back, it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to have to bite that bullet and come off the bench. So we're going to break that down right now in the Pelicans Scoop. Cue my music.
This is the Pelicans Scoop with Jordan Kitchens, breaking down everything under the sun about your New Orleans Pelicans. Smash that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to stay on top of your Pels content. Now, running point, here's Jordan.
What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another edition of the Pelicans Scoop. I am your host, with the most, Jordan Kitchens, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel, back in the studio. We back again, and we back talking Pelicans. I can't say the word, but y'all read my lips. So, she from the title of the video, Odd Man Out. And you're like, Herb Jones, what's going on? I get everybody has a various allegiance to Herb Jones, all right? And it's not hard to see why. All right, Herb Jones is one of those guys that's all work, no talk. All work, no talk. Hard work, no talk. Does the dirty things, guy that you want in your corner. You go through a dark alley out of the Pelicans roster. Who do you want with you? You go through a dark alley. Probably DeJounte Murray and Herb Jones. One of those guys. I don't know Zion. Maybe Zion because he's a big body, but I don't know. We really come to a little bit of fisticuffs, a little bit of negativity. I know Herb Jones gonna be there. So it's not hard to understand why Herb Jones has built such a cult following in New Orleans, because very fan favorite. But at the same time, it's going to be kind of weird when Herb does come back, or, eventually DeJounte does come back, because this kind of falls between Herb and DeJounte. Where do you guys fit when the smoke clears? So the Pelicans, as y'all know, have less than 20 wins. All right, you're looking at a top 3, top 4 pick, God willingly top 2, maybe God willingly number 1. And one of those assets you're going to bring in is going to have to start. It's going to have to start. Either it's Dylan Harper, Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, Derek Queen, whatever you pick in this draft, whatever blessing the NBA finds its way into New Orleans is going to have to immediately play. All right, it's not a guy, I get it. It's not the Houston Rockets situation where they're able to get a Reed Shepherd top 3 and he's a bench warmer at this point. And that's only because how deep they are. The Pelicans don't have that luxury. The Pelicans do not have that luxury. If you're good, the Pelicans are starting Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk. They're starting Bruce Brown. I only think Kelly Olynyk maybe started a handful of games for the Raptors. And Bruce Brown's been a fixture in the starting lineup since he's got here. So the Pelicans are not going to have that luxury, especially when you're looking at DeJounte, who you're possibly is not coming back till 2026, January, February 2026. Torn Achilles are hard to recover from. And you don't even know, especially when he does come back, he's going to be rusty. It's going to be kinks he's got to work out. It's going to be he's got to trust his body. It's going to be he's not trying to plan off. I forgot which Achilles he tore, but he's not trying to plan off that leg because, he's still in the back of his head, doesn't trust it yet. So it's going to be that process where, DeJounte has to overcome that. But knowing how DeJounte Murray works and knowing how this character is from his little time here, he's a worker. So I know he's attacking the rehab process full force and trying to get things done. But the main culprit is Herbert Keyshawn Jones. The reason why is Herbert Keyshawn Jones. So Herb is recovering from a labrum tear. He just had surgery in February. He tore it a while. He really pretty much tore it back in October when he got hurt against the Trailblazers. And he tried to, Herb Jones is one of those people who's going to have to die on the court. Herb Jones is not one of those guys that's going to be, all right, my pinky toe hurt, or I stubbed my finger, or I got a rolled ankle and I haven't played all year. He's not one of those guys. Herb Jones is not one of those guys. Herb Jones will get shot on an NBA court and still be out there trying to, I need a timeout. Like, Herb Jones is one of those guys. So when he does come back, a labrum tear, let me read the Google thing, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what the hell, how long a labrum tear is going to take. So as you're seeing from the screenshot somewhere on the screen, the recovery time for a labrum tear shoulder surgery varies depending on the severity and location of the tear, as well as the individual patient. Generally, it takes several months to fully recover. It's really looking like a 6 to 12 month type of process. So Herb just had his surgery in February. So we might not be looking at Herb till maybe early 2026 January, maybe late 2025 December. If I'm, because you're not really expecting. This is his right shoulder. It's not a shooting. It's Herb's left-handed, so it's his right shoulder that he tore. Just put a hypothetical out there. Let's just say in a perfect world, Herb Jones comes back, late December, early January 2026. In the meantime, you still have positions to fill. So right now you can solidify Zion, not Bi. Oh my goodness. Zion, Trey, I'm about to say Bi. Zion, Trey, Misi maybe, or unless you would like, I will, would love for the Pelicans to bring in a veteran big or a big with a little bit more experience. Like, Misi can rein back a little bit, learn and really get there, because Misi will get there. He just started playing basketball. He's super, 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 super young. Misi can't even buy a beer yet, so he is his grace period. Next year, there is no more grace period. Now we got to see you start stacking and building. You can kind of pencil those guys in. You still got to fill. You still got a lot of positions to fill in. Still got a lot of position to fill in. And it's kind of sad because you're kind of back at square one where you don't have a point guard still. And you don't really have a competent, I ain't gonna say competent big, but a big that you feel very confident in going into next year. Like Misi still should be in the summer league. Like Misi's not there yet to where he's like, okay, we ain't gonna give you the keys yet. We let you drive a little bit, but we still gonna monitor you and watch you. So with that being said, and moving forward, depending on whatever this pick you get, they will be in the starting lineup. They will be in the starting line. Like if it's Cooper Flag, hopefully, Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey. One of those guys. Perfect world is Cooper Flag, but Pelicans don't live in a perfect world. So let's just say you get Dylan Harper. Let's say you get the number 3 pick, and you get Dylan Harper, okay? Dylan Harper at the 1, and I really do feel like I said, it's been various different lineups, very different metamorphosis this team has had to go through, and I think that even through all the pain and suffering that you've gone through, I think you find a solution to your Zion problem. And what Zion problem is what Zion's an undersized 4. Let's just call it what it is. And the problem with Zion being an undersized 4 is that he doesn't rebound at such a high level to where you have to really respect him in the paint, because he's still a force. His rebounds have been up lately this year, but historically wise, Zion he's a terrible rebounder. It's not, I ain't gonna say terrible. He's not great, but he's not good. He's kind of mid at rebounding. Like Zion is an all-time great scorer, all-time great, gravity player. Like Zion's on the court, all eyes on him. But we're talking the rebound aspect, and that kind of hinders the team a little bit, because when you don't have a solidified, glass cleaning big, granted, yes, Steven Adams, but that just the fit wasn't there. Zion also, this doesn't take off Zion's hands too. Like you still also have to, elevate your game too, which he's done this year. I'm not going to sit here and say he hasn't. He's elevated his rebounds. He's giving you everything you wanted in the second half of the season, but we need to be able to put that together, string that together for a full 82. So I think Zion has really found his place in the starting lineup at the 3 and have Trey Murphy at the 2. The 2 is Herb Jones' spot. Or CJ McCollum. Oh, Lord. How I forget about CJ McCollum. I'm talking about who you can solidify. Well, no, I don't really solidify CJ in the starting lineup, because I still think you got to move off CJ. You probably can't no more because of DeJounte's injury, so you need a lead guard necessarily. And maybe, if you do get a Dylan Harper, he can learn from CJ McCollum. But at the same time, you still need a lead guard. And I think Trey Murphy and Zion are your 2 and 3. So the odd man out, either when McCollum or this new point guard you get, or David Griffin makes a move, or when DeJounte comes back, somebody's going to have to bite that bullet. The reason why I say Zion at the 3 and Trey at the 2 is because, with Zion being such a lackluster rebounder, it does seem like having 2 quality bigs in there with him is the best way to go. 2 quality bigs. Well, quality meaning, like, I think Willie Green kind of stumbled upon finding out that Zion goes great paired with having 2 big men out there. I feel like we've seen Zion really at his peak this season when he's out there with like Carlo and Kelly Olynyk, or Carlo and Yves Misi. Yves Misi's got to still figure it out because Zion is a paint dweller. Zion dwells in the paint. Yves Misi dwells in the paint. Carlo and Kelly Olynyk, on the other hand, are stretches, so they can sit there and go out on the 3-point line, space it out, Carlo from the corner, Kelly top of the key. So I think that Willie kind of stumbled upon this, and hopefully Willie's gone. Like, let's just, in the perfect world, Willie's gone next year, and we're talking about having a real head coach that has X's and O's that can sit there, and I hate to keep, giving Lakers credit, but like be on some JJ Redick stuff, right? I just saw a clip of yesterday. Luke was like, I've never been this open in my life. Not necessarily taking a shot at Jason Kidd, but JJ Redick is doing what he has to do to create opportunities for star players to get buckets. And the Pelicans need that. They need a head coach like that. You don't need a Willie Green telling you, oh, Brandon Ingram's got to figure it out in the playoffs. Like, that's egregious. We need you. You're the coach, bro. You need to find ways to get him going. It can't always be on him. So, perfect world, Willie's gone. But at the end of the day, if you're going to go out there with 2 bigs, 4 and a 5, which you need, I feel like that's the best lineup what I've seen in the Zion era, other than when you have like Trey, B.I., and Zion, but those days are gone, and it's over with. So you can kiss that baby goodbye. And when you're looking at it like that, where does Herb Jones fit in this equation? Or does CJ McCollum, if you should be able to move on CJ this offseason, or you keep him for the rookie or whatever. Where do these people fit in the equation? Somebody's going to have to, eventually, the buck's going to stop, and somebody's going to have to, be the team player. Let's just say it like that. Somebody's going to have to do that. And I think Herb Jones is a team guy through and through. I think Herb Jones will literally give his soul to the Pelicans, the city of New Orleans, to better for the team. I think Herb Jones is one of those people. But at the same time, I ain't going to say everybody doesn't. Regardless, you're an NBA player. You have an ego. It might not be a huge ego. You might not be, LeBron ego. You might not be one of those guys' ego, but you're still one of the best, 150 basketball players in the world. 300. I don't know how many players are in the NBA. Well, I said 150. That's definitely not a full team. Or maybe like 300. You're still one of the best 300 players in the world. So you're gonna have some type of ego. I gotta come off the bench. These guys are the best guys from all walks of life. They was always the best guy in their town, the best guy, this and that. So I think Herb Jones eventually will have to come off the bench. I think that would be for the better of the team. Just depends on who you get at the lead guard spot. Like I said, it's still a lot of holes to fill in, but I just know once this team does come to fruition in 2026, once this team finally comes together in 2026, that somebody's going to have to bite that bullet. There will be an odd man out because I think moving forward, Trey, he needs to get his handle a little bit better. His handle has come a long way from where it was when he was, his first couple years, now where he is now. Get his hands a little bit better, his handle, and he can really be a solidified 2-3 in the NBA. Well, really a 2 on this team because his scoring ability, his length, you make the team a lot taller, longer if you have Trey at the 2. I just don't know what you're going to do at the 1. We just have to see what's going to happen. I don't really think if you're going to the season with CJ McCollum at the 1 again, you're already just punting on the year. You're already punting on the year. You need a guard that's going to be able to create. You need a guard that can shoot the 3 ball a little bit. I'm not saying Jose Alvarado can. Now, it's like I'm describing Jose Alvarado, but Jose Alvarado is too little. Okay, let's call it what it is. You need a real guard. Jose's still good. Come off the bench. I'm not saying get rid of Jose. I'm saying a legitimate starting NBA caliber point guard like a DeJounte Murray. You need that guy going into the year because you don't have one anymore at the moment until 2026. And we still don't know how DeJounte will even look coming back in 2026. So I just truly believe the best for the Pelicans at the moment is solidified spots is definitely Trey Murphy and Zion at the 2 and the 3, and you fill in the rest. Right? Is Carlo going to be in the starting lineup? Would that even mean that you bring back me? I said bring back Messi, but have Messi again in the starting lineup going to next year, unless you bring in another big. But I just feel like if you're going to have Zion at the 3, the 2 bigs you have out there, one of them needs to be able to shoot threes. One of them needs to be able to be out there, space the floor, get a lot of pressure off Zion where they're not sitting there collapsing the defense. You look at a couple screenshots of how the spacings look lately. It's been garbage. All right, it's like everybody's focused on Zion. Nobody's looking nowhere else. So this team needs a little bit more talent, obviously, but a lot of the money you have tied up are guys that are hurt. So I just really think the betterment for this team, Trey at the 2, Zion at 3, fill in your 4 and 5 out of, Kelly or Carlo starting. Maybe have Messi, but at your one, you got to get a guy. Hopefully you can draft one of those guys, but you got to get a guy. You have to get a guy because you're just having an assortment of pieces that you're trying to make a team out of. And somebody's going to have to bite the bullet. And I think Herb Jones, even though he's a fan favorite, people will literally give their shirt off their back for Herb Jones. That's how much he means to the city of New Orleans. But if you truly, truly, truly love this team, you know it's for the betterment, is that Herb is going to have to come off the bench when everybody's back. Let's call it what it is. He's going to have to come off the bench. And it's not saying his role is going to be diminished. I'm not saying like Herb Jones is going to be playing 10 minutes a game. But Herb Jones, unless his shooting is there, because he regressed this year in shooting, unless his shooting is there, there really is no fit for him. I'm not saying he doesn't fit no more because Herb Jones is one of the best. Herb Jones can literally go on any contending championship team and give an impact. He's still an impact player. I'm talking like starting lineup-wise, he's not a 1. And I like Trey and Zion at your 2 and 3. The 4 and the 5 need to be bigs that can rebound and shoot. One of them needs to be able to shoot. Another one needs to be like a rim protector, block shots and all that. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think as, I said, just put in the mindset of 2026. January of 2026. It's funny because we're in March of 25. So January of 26, what do you guys think the best lineup will be? I'm talking like everybody's healthy, everybody's back. I don't know, because you're also gonna need that draft pick. Obviously the draft is not here. We don't even know what pick we have, so that also will come into play. But let's just say you throw one of the rookies in there. Throw one of the rookies that they end up getting to get the 1 through 4. One of the rookies they get in there. What do you guys think? Build a lineup in the comments. What do you guys think the best starting lineup in 2026 will be? Talking about everybody's back, all your money's on the table. So thank you guys for sticking in for another edition of Pelicans Scoop. I've been your host with the most, Jordan Kitchen, man, and I'm signing out. Peace.